There we go. All right, so thanks for joining us today. Hey, you're in for a real treat with all the tools that you'll be exposed to here this morning. Your lines are muted. If you have any questions for the presenter, you can go to your GoToWebinar control panel and type your question in, and then we'll answer those near the end of the call. As you probably noticed in your registration, we will be drawing today for a $50 Amazon gift card. All attendees on the webinar at the time of the drawing are eligible to win. But I'm confident that you'll all be winners of great information here today. So hey, our presenter today is Michelle Tish. Michelle is a Regional Vice President of Life Brokerage with The Principal. She has over 25 years of senior sales management experience and proven ability to meet sales objectives. Michelle has great experience in working with offices and producers to increase sales and productivity. She's worked in a variety of capacities with The Principal throughout the years, including managing the Alliance Management Group for Independent Life Distribution, as well as product and business solution marketing. These roles have given Michelle expertise in managing distribution relationships, supporting business concepts, developing effective sales ideas, and leveraging product strength. So with that, and also Michelle, native of Iowa, she received her degree from the University of Northern Iowa in financial management, and she earned her CLU and CHFC from the American College, and she's also a registered rep holding her Series 6, 7, 63, and of course her life and health licenses. She's also a registered principal. And her husband are empty nesters since their 2 daughters are out of the home. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to a very accomplished person here, Michelle Tish. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thanks for that great introduction and for having Principal and me on the call today. Really appreciate that. And thanks to everyone for joining us to talk a little bit about the insights on what business owners are thinking and what their needs are at this unprecedented time. As you can imagine, all business owners are under a lot of pressure. Not only do they have the same stressors that we do as far as worrying about our health and financial well-being of our family, but they have those same worries for their employees. And then they have the concern of, can my business even be open? If it is, what are some of the rules around that? And then they need to consider, do I want to take some of the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program money, or other types of loans that are out there?
Michelle, we're not able to hear you.
So,
it sounds like you're having...
business owners have to consider all of those types of things, and Principal has been a resource. I'm sorry? Oh, I didn't know if that was a question. But Principal has been a great resource for business owners in the past, whether that's on... Okay, is it working now?
It sure is. Forgive me.
Are things... Okay, no worries. But we've traditionally provided a lot of support and resource to business owners, whether that's on the 401k side, the business succession side, and we've really stepped up our efforts during these uncertain times. And so we'll talk a little bit about some of the support and services that we have available to business owners. We're going to share some of the insights that we've learned. We've done a number of surveys with business owners and just had discussions with them. So we'll talk about some of the things that we've learned through those insights and those discussions. We'll share some of the resources that we've developed to help business owners navigate many of the questions that they have. And then we'll share some actions that you can take to help deepen your relationships with business owners because they really are looking for tools, support, and resources. And so we'll share some of that with you as well. So from an insight perspective, from a COVID-19 impact, it's no surprise to anybody that the impact of the COVID-19 on the business market varies significantly based on the industry. Leisure and hospitality have by far been hit the hardest. There are some that are hit depending on regions, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. There are others that are booming right now. We've seen a huge influx of opportunity and business in working with firms like transportation companies, grocery stores. Some agribusiness opportunities are doing well. And again, depending on location, manufacturing and construction may or may not have been hit hard. So some significant opportunities out there, but more that have been hit and hurt by the COVID-19 impact. Of course, as you would expect, the more established businesses are faring better. But no matter who the business owner is or what type of industry they're in, many of their concerns are the same. They're all concerned with managing cash flow and questions about the relief funds. There is still about $130 billion of PPP money sitting out there and available to small businesses. And many of them have been concerned about taking it, but there have been some changes that just came about recently, we'll talk about here in a minute, that might make it more beneficial and make them feel more comfortable taking those funds. So Principal has been providing great resources on that front. We'll talk about some of those, but it's a huge concern to business owners. They are very concerned about their employees, both financially and health-wise. They want to make sure the employees can maintain a standard of living, but also when they do return to the to the workforce, how do they protect their health? And then just as we go back to a new normal, how do they navigate that? And so what other resources are available and what are business owners really looking for? They are incredibly interested in any information that's specific to their industry. How are other people in their industry dealing with the pandemic and reopening businesses and that kind of a thing? They're least interested on hearing about remote working and national news. They can get that information themselves. So they are really excited about getting information on navigating the financial impact, the concerns about taking care of employees, that kind of a thing from trusted resources such as yourselves. So a great tip is going to be, if you have business owner clients, reaching out to them to share some of these things that we'll talk about today. And if you have a specific industry that you work in quite a bit, it would probably be beneficial if you go out and look for any information that's specific to that industry to share with those business owners. They would greatly appreciate it. I think this chart is very interesting because it compares the job impact from April of 2019 to April of 2020, and it shows the percentage of jobs lost, and it breaks it out regionally. So you can see that the Northeast and the Midwest were actually hit the hardest by job losses, and by far, leisure and hospitality has been impacted significantly. But some of the other industries were impacted much less, and some of them it's very regional. If you look at, finance and real estate and professional and business services, not much impact across the board. They were probably the least hit. Things like transportation might have seen some loss, might have seen some pickup in some areas, but construction looks like it's very regional. In the Northeast, construction was hit harder than it was in other areas, and some areas didn't have nearly the impact. So it's very interesting to see how the impact does apply by region, by industry, and that kind of a thing. So regardless of where they're at, the business owners have some key concerns. So what actions can be used to support your business owner customers? Well, really the key thing is to reach out to these clients, especially those that were hit the hardest. Again, if you have specific industry information, that's what they're most interested in, but they are very concerned about the CARES Act and the PPP money, and they have questions. In fact, we had a call a few weeks ago that was open to business owners to talk about the pension pay or the Paycheck Protection Program, and we had 4,000 to 5,000 people from small to medium-sized businesses on that call, and it was rated incredibly high. So they are very concerned, and they have a lot of questions about the PPP money and how it might work for them. Another way that you could be of a resource to business owners is to help them determine if they have any payment flexibility on any of their benefit programs, whether that's group coverage or other insurance. Most carriers have extended pay grace periods. Some of them have other things that are available to help offset some of the costs. So helping them navigate that is considered incredibly beneficial to business owners. No matter who the business owner is, they have three main areas of concern based on the surveys that we have done. And the first is cash flow. Obviously, they want to make the best use of the cash flow that they have. And a lot of that does revolve around the CARES Act. And again, Principal has a number of tools that we'll take a quick look at here in a moment. But things like a decision guide to determine what type of loan might be most beneficial for a business. We have calculators to help the business owners figure out how much PPP money they might be eligible for. And finally, we have a loan forgiveness guide with tips on how do you best manage this, this money that you might get to make sure that you qualify for loan forgiveness. I think that's been one of the biggest concerns and why there is still $130 billion available for PPP money. But there was guidance that was signed last night by the Senate, or it passed the Senate last night. We're waiting for the president's signature that will greatly increase the flexibility of PPP money. And I think it will make many business owners much more comfortable in applying for that because the loan forgiveness has been made easier. So there is more information available on that. We will make sure that your financial markets internal wholesalers get that information out to you as far as a summary of what the changes were, and also the websites that are available to you and the business owner to navigate some of these most recent updates. There are things that can help, such as, Principal is giving a dental premium credit for business owners that have their dental coverage with us. There is financial relief available with many carriers. Principal is one of those that offers some type of financial relief if they qualify. So just making sure business owners know about these resources and can navigate that is incredibly helpful. Other things that Principal's doing is, just extending coverage. If an employee is laid off or furloughed, they can extend their coverage for 90 days as long as the premiums are paid. So certainly trying to make it easier for people to keep their coverage. From a resource perspective, we do have a website, as I mentioned, that is available to business owners, open access. They don't have to have an account with Principal at all. It is basically principal.com/navigating-business-now. And again, your internal wholesalers at Financial Markets will send that out to you. But down in the left hand, this is the key site that comes up. And you can see that the three main concerns of business owners, managing cash flow, taking care of my employees, and planning for recovery, are shown as the top three things. And so they can get more information on any one of those. And by clicking on managing cash flow, they're able to see the information that you can see up here on the right-hand side. Things like 12 cash flow ideas to help get through 2020. Different ideas and solutions that are available to help those business owners. And then we also have the calculator and the tracking tool to help business owners who do take PPP money track their expenses so that they can prove that they are legitimate expenses when they go to apply for the forgiveness of the PPP money. So those are some of the excellent resources that are available to you and to your business owner clients. This is another tool that's very popular. It's a quick summary of the different programs, the PPP and the economic injury disaster loans, to talk about who's eligible for these and what size of business, what are the deadlines associated with these. One thing to note is that the guidance for the PPP is still waiting for the president's signature, and hopefully that will happen very quickly, but they do need to apply for this money now that they've got these additional expanded flexibility guidelines. The date or the deadline is still June 30th. So timing is of the essence in getting to your business owner clients, sharing this information so that they can decide, do I need to apply, should I apply, and getting that application in by that June 30th date. This is a great resource, for you, for your clients, but it is something that we'll make sure gets out to you after the call, and it's being updated based on the recent changes that have occurred as well. You'll see that we also link to the SBA website just so that if they want more information, they can link out to other resources and make sure that they have everything that they need. So in summary, it is a key time to reach out to your business owner clients. Many people aren't. They assume that they're too busy, they're too stressed, but really those business owner clients do want that contact. They want that support. They don't want you to generically reach out and just say, we're here to help. Reach out with these types of tools and resources, something that you'll have in hand to share with those business owners to show them that you're there to help them. As you reach out, some of the top planning needs and opportunities that you might find are estate planning, key person, and business succession. Estate planning is something that hits, this is a key time or a opportune time to do estate planning. We've never seen a situation like this where the asset values are as low as they are and the interest rates are at historic lows. Those two things combined make this an excellent time to do estate planning. If you have a business owner or a farmer that is thinking about passing land, passing an asset to family members, whether that's gifting or they want to do it through some type of a charitable remainder trust or a GRAT, all of those types of tools are more effective right now because of the low asset values and the low interest rates. It allows people to pass assets very easily and more economically and efficiently than they have in the past. Added to that, most people are looking at all of the relief programs that are out there and know that that is just increasing our deficit by leaps and bounds. Well, that deficit has to be paid back somehow, and that's going to be through increased taxes. And some of the areas where people may look to increase their taxes are things like estate taxes. There's a strong belief that there will be a huge press to complete estate tax planning by the end of this year, especially if we have a Democratic president nominated and elected. We'll probably see a huge push to get estate planning done by the end of the year. And so it is great timing to reach out to clients and get that started now so that they can get everything completed by the end of the year. As you know, estate planning takes a little while. The other two areas are more business oriented, and we'll spend a little bit more time on those, but things like key person and business succession planning have also been of keen interest to business owners in this time frame. This pandemic has made everyone much more aware of their mortality, and business owners are thinking, what would happen to the business if I wasn't here to run it, or a key person wasn't here to help keep things going? Business owners are asking their key people to do more today than they ever have, and they need them. They need to make sure that those key people are around to continue the business and keep things moving forward. So key person insurance has become a topic, and we all know how key person insurance works. Basically, the business buys a life insurance policy or disability on the key person. The business owns it, pays the premium with after-tax dollars, and if that person dies or becomes disabled, then the benefit is paid back to the business tax-free. And it can be used for a lot of different things. Right now, things business owners are most concerned about from a key person perspective is providing a financial cushion. Just having that influx of money at a time, especially like this, would be of such great value because they're likely seeing lost revenue, they're maybe seeing lost employees, but another key thing is they're taking on additional debt. Whether the business is taking on the PPP money or other types of debt, many business owners are looking for additional financing or debt. And many lenders are going to require that that business owner have a life insurance policy that is collaterally assigned to take care of that debt. So having the key person life insurance that can pay back any loans if something were to happen to the business owner is of top concern right now. Now, the PPP loans do not require the business owner to have any type of life insurance coverage before they can get the loan, but it's still prudent if you are taking on additional debt to make sure that it is covered. The main reason the PPP doesn't require that is that it's anticipated that a lot of that loan or all of the loan could be forgiven, but a lot of people are concerned that what if it isn't? And so having that coverage can be very important. So as you think about key person coverage and how much coverage you need, most people think, well, you need anywhere from 5 to 8, 5 to 10 times income on a key person basis. And that's, as a general rule, good, but there are a lot of other indications that could impact the amount of coverage that a business owner should have on a key person. Things like, how large is the business? How many key people do you have? Is that key person one of the individuals that's responsible for long-term debt? Because if the key person is also the owner, then they are responsible for that long-term debt. So Principal has a mobile-friendly calculator that is available on an open access website that we'll get to you, that you just input a few key things that the business owner, that would impact the business, and including all income and input on the size of the business and that kind of a thing. And we will provide a customized report that is a very nice analysis to show to your business owner client so that they know that you didn't just, pull this number out of the hat. You basically had some type of an analysis to determine how much coverage is needed. And it does provide a high, medium, and low amount that they can choose from, that the business owner could see this is what is needed to cover that particular key person. It also includes a quick quote for our term products because many times key person insurance is funded with term insurance. If you're looking to do permanent insurance, you can pull that term calculation off the report. You don't have to send that to the employer, but it is available if that's something that they're looking to consider. Now, when you're looking at policy structure on a key person plan, it's pretty straightforward. Again, the employer buys the coverage, owns it, pays the premium to the insurance company, and they receive the death proceeds. But if you do have it assigned for loan purposes, such as covering the PPP or any other type of loan that they might be taking, you do have to have that collateral assignment in place to the lender. And Principal is one of the very few carriers that will allow you to have that collateral assignment put on at time of issue. And with many banks or other lenders, that is incredibly important. So we do make it easy for you as you work with these types of loans and putting in a key person policy for loan coverage specifically. The other key concern that we're hearing a lot about right now is business succession planning. And really, this is about how to make sure the business gets to the right person at the right time at the right price. And a lot of people think of business succession planning as, how do I protect my business? And that is key, obviously, but business succession planning not only protects the business, but also the family, because most businesses are family businesses. And if you don't have a business succession plan, your family is going to be drawn into the business, whether they want to or not. So it's a protection for both the business and the business owner's family. When you look at how many businesses have any type of a continuation plan, it's about half of business owners that do. And many of those that say they have a business succession plan, it is literally a paragraph in their operating agreement. So they truly don't have a real business continuation plan. They have a reference to it. And of the business succession plans that we've taken a look at, 29% of the businesses that have a plan have an optional buyout trigger. That means that if one of the business owners were to die, in 29% of the time, the remaining business owners would have the option of buying out the family, the deceased business owner's family. that isn't a really effective plan. So normally you want to have those be a required buyout. And on the disability side, it's only a 60%, 66% mandatory, or rather 66% do not have a mandatory buyout. So business owners think that they have a plan that's going to take care of all of these things, but the reality is they don't really have the plan that they think they have. And a well-written plan is really going to accomplish many things. It's going to talk about what happens to the business under anything that can happen to that business, basically. It is a will for your business. And it protects your business and your family. And it helps business owners maximize their financial return. They've put in a lot of money into the business, but they've also put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And so making sure that they're able to maximize that while minimizing taxes is definitely something that business owners are interested in. One of the ways that Principal can help in this is we do offer a buy-sell review. The buy-sell review is something that our attorneys in our advanced solutions area put together, and basically they'll put together a summary of, this is the buy-sell structure that you have. It's an entity purchase plan. This is how it works. And then they'll talk about some of the potential gaps that the business owner might have in their plan. We do see a lot of issues with business owners' plans that, again, they think they have everything taken care of, but things like they haven't signed the buy-sell agreement. Literally, that is what we see in about 30% of the plans that we review. They haven't signed them. So they have had the attorney draft them, and they've gone to a lot of trouble to get a document, but it doesn't do anything if they haven't signed it. Or it may only cover death, which is very common. It doesn't cover the other triggering events, such as disability, divorce, any type of departure, which cover retirement or any other reason for departure. So there are generally a lot of gaps in these buy-sell agreements that we see. And one of the most common is the issue with the valuation of the buy-sell or of the business in the plan and the funding of that. So as we have done these buy-sell reviews, we have tracked how many of them had a reasonably accurate value in the buy-sell agreement. And only 4% of the time was the agreement, did the agreement value match what the actual value of the business is. So that means 96% of the time, the business will transfer, because it's a required transfer if that agreement is signed, at a value that isn't accurate. So providing that insight to the business owners is something that they incredibly value. They really like to have that pointed out to them so that they can get it fixed. Because these are business owners that have done this planning, they think they're taken care of, but they're actually probably in a worse position than if they would have done no planning at all, because they have an agreement that isn't accurate. So how do they come up with the numbers that are in that plan? Well, generally it's not because they had their business valued, because only about 40% of businesses have ever had their business valued. And of those, only about half have had them valued in the last 2 years. And as we know, the value of a business can change drastically in a 2 or 3 year period. So making sure that they have an accurate value portrayed in their agreement is critical. So again, Principal offers a solution that can help in that scenario. We do have a complimentary informal business valuation that we can provide. And we've been providing this for a number of years to business owners that want to do some type of planning. It is informal, so it doesn't peg the value for IRS purposes, or if the business owner is looking to outright sell the business in the next year or so, this wouldn't be a good use for the business valuation. But if you have a business owner that's trying to put together their financial plan, their exit strategies, and just put together a well-rounded plan, that's exactly where we would utilize the complimentary business valuation. We do use 5 methods, as you can see over there to the right, and we highlight the one that's most appropriate for the business type that we're working with. So you can see that we're going to give them a number of different values, and we'll talk through that with you and the business owner. The great thing about this is we not only provide the valuation information, but we also provide the different planning opportunities that the business owner might be interested in talking about. So things like business succession planning, key person planning, retention strategies, retirement strategies for the business owner, disability, all of those are covered in the report that we send to you. And the ideal format is that once we send that report to you, then we'll schedule a call with you and the business owner to talk through the value of the business. And our goal is to make sure the business owner agrees that that value that we're presenting makes sense based on all of the factors impacting their business. And once they've agreed that that number does make sense, they're usually ready to move to that next step. They want to go ahead and do the planning to protect that business. So we will discuss the different planning needs or opportunities that might be out there. As we're working with you and the business owners on the buy-sell review and the business valuation, we will talk about the different triggers that might be or should be included in the business succession plan. And of course, death is one most people do include, and we talk about the importance of having that be a mandatory buyout. Of course, the death can be funded with term insurance or permanent insurance. They are going to both pay out at exactly the right time to transact that, buyout. Disability insurance can be funded with disability buyout. But the other triggers, such as divorce and any type of departure, such as retirement or termination, all of these types of things really have to be funded using a sinking fund. Some of them are predictable from a timing perspective, but many are not. And so the best that the business owner can do is have a sinking fund to help fund these different types of buyout needs. And we all know that life insurance is an excellent sinking fund for for businesses to use to fund any type of a future need. So we've had a lot of discussions about using life insurance with business owners, and one of our newer products is something that has received a lot of interest, and it is our Index UL Accumulation 2 product that has an alternate surrender value that really helps business owners as they purchase permanent life insurance to fund these types of needs. So this is a situation where the business wanted to purchase a life insurance policy. The business was going to own it, but a traditional life insurance policy would show maybe a $20,000 net surrender value, or maybe $7,600 net surrender value, when the business owner has put in about $43,000. And business owners can't have that much of a difference between what they've invested and what the value is showing. And so the alternate surrender value guarantees that the business owner will have a value equal to premiums paid for the first 5 years. You can see that at the end of 5 years, the alternate surrender value is $213,000 and the premium paid is $213,000. So it guarantees it for the first 5 years. There's usually a slight dip, year 6, 7, maybe 8, and then it comes back. And so by the years 9 and 10 for sure, you're looking at a surrender value that is above premiums paid. And business owners really appreciate this type of a tool or a resource to fund these types of needs. This comes into play especially for businesses that do a lot of bonding, construction firms, and any type of contracting firms that have to bid jobs and then they have to hold bonding dollars. The bonding assets have to be in some type of liquid asset. And traditionally, business owners have held cash, which doesn't give them any return. This policy would allow them to hold a portion of those assets in this life insurance policy because it is considered liquid. And in reality, it's kind of like they're taking money from the right pocket and putting it into the left pocket because they are booking the exact same value as what they spent. So it is a tool that has been very, very popular with business owners looking to fund key person potentially or buy-sell type of plans. Principal does have a number of tools to help you start the conversation with business owners, and we'll get these all out to your financial markets internal wholesalers so that they can share it, and you can use these to talk to your business owner clients about the importance of having a buy-sell or business valuation done and how they can help them from a planning perspective. The process to get one of those two items is pretty easy. We have a one-page fact finder that the business owner would need to complete. It's about 10 questions. It's really very simple. And then for the valuation, we would need 3 full years of financial data. So many times we take tax returns, but we can use P&Ls and balance sheets if they would rather send those. The turnaround time for the valuation itself is about 5 to 8 business days. To get a buy-sell review, we would need obviously the same fact finder, but also the business plan that they have in place with any amendments, and then information on any insurance that they have purchased. That's for several reasons. One is to make sure it's the right amount, that they have the coverage that they need, which they usually don't, but also that it's owned and set up properly. Many times we find that they don't have the policies owned appropriately, which can cause some great challenges, so we can help them get that fixed as well. The buy-sell reviews do take about 15 to 20 business days because the advanced markets attorney is actually reviewing that specific plan and putting together that analysis. If you're doing a buy-sell review, we always recommend that you do the informal business valuation at the same time, so that we can make sure that the value that's represented in that buy-sell agreement is accurate and that we can help you with that funding as well. So hopefully that gave you some ideas on some of the things that business owners might be concerned about from a planning perspective. And it's great to find those types of cases and help the business owner get started from a planning perspective, but it's also as important to get that case underwritten and placed. And right now, as you can imagine, people are very concerned with doing exams, and they want to be able to get the coverage put in place without any type of interaction with a paramed or that kind of a thing. So Principal brings a number of options to the table to help business owners from that perspective, or just any insured, any client that you have that wants to get coverage. We provide options from accelerated underwriting all the way through to guaranteed issue. And we'll talk briefly about each one of these so that you get an idea. But again, your financial markets internal wholesaler can give you more information on these. Accelerated underwriting is something that Principal has had for a number of years. We were actually the first to come to market with it. And it is available to get up to $1 million of coverage with any product that we sell. Up to age 60, and it is designed for your healthier lives. So the no major health conditions, and they fall within the bill chart. And the process with accelerated underwriting is very easy. You would complete Part A and C of the app or a drop ticket, and then the client would complete a Part B with us either via a tele app or they can do that online. We would then order an MIB, an MVR, and a prescription database check. And that's all we use to underwrite with accelerated underwriting. We see about 50% of the people that apply getting approved with accelerated underwriting. And it's just a fantastic program. During this time frame, though, we have expanded some fluidless guidelines to help individuals get even more coverage. So if you have somebody who's up to 40, they could get up to $2.5 million with these guidelines, or if they're 60, they could get up to $2 million. And the key here is, again, there's still those healthier individuals with a good build, but that the client has had a physical in the last 24 months that includes blood work, and that we can access that information. So it takes a little bit longer if they're using the expanded fluidless guidelines, but we will go out and try to access that information so that they don't need an exam in order to be able to write that coverage. Of course, we have full underwriting if you have clients that fall outside of these parameters. Generally, that requires an exam. Our underwriters are working diligently to try to help make that easier for individuals, but in many situations, we do still need an exam for higher face amounts and that kind of a thing. We also have guaranteed issue available for executive groups, I guess you would call it. We consider white collar management folks and executives making over $75,000 a year to fall into the eligibility group for guaranteed issue. For permanent products, we would need 10 or more of those individuals. And for our guaranteed issue individual term, we would need 25 or more eligible lives. And we would be glad to work with you on any cases you might have that could fall into these guaranteed issue parameters. The solutions and ideas that we've talked about today all pertain to business solutions and plans. And when a business owner buys a life insurance product to fund one of those types of plans, they really, in their mind, have bought a plan, not necessarily a life insurance policy. So they bought a key person plan or a business succession plan, and the life insurance is just the funding vehicle. They really want to have that plan administered as the plan that they purchased. And Principal is the only carrier that really does provide that full plan level service on everything that we sell. So if you had a key person policy that you sold, we would assign it a case administrator in our business market administration area that you or the business owner could call with questions. We would send out list bill if there were multiple lives, and we would send out annual reports that summarize where that policy is and provide any tax reporting that might be needed. So again, it is a full service type of process that we provide throughout that entire sales process, from the calculator or the business valuation all the way through. We're going to be there to help to make sure that your business owners get the right solution that works now and after the sale. Neil, at this point, I would be glad to entertain any questions that might have come in.
Excellent, excellent. Wow, that's just such great information here. Michelle, I get a little feedback from you, so I'm going to mute your line, and I'll unmute your line to answer the questions that come up. Again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and type it into your GoToWebinar control panel. And don't leave the call just yet. All those that are in attendance are eligible to be in the drawing for the $50 Amazon gift card, which we'll do after the Q&A here. There's one question that came in so far, Michelle. Question is, would the team, including the attorney, at some stage be willing to talk to my client and or his attorney CPA? And I'll unmute your line to address that question.
That is a great question, and the answer is yes. Our attorneys are glad to visit with the business owner client and their attorneys if they have questions. That is one of the benefits of working with Principal, is that we do actually prefer to have the business owner on the line as we're going through the valuation or the buy-sell review. So we make sure that we answer any questions that they have. So we definitely are glad to be on the line and provide guidance. Of course, we can't give tax or legal advice, but we certainly can provide guidance and would be glad to do so.
Very good. Thank you, Michelle. You know, you hear all kinds of presentation, a lot of noise out there, if you will, and really Principal, really, they walk their talk. And I think you'd be really impressed with the services that they provide. And really, it comes from the pre-sale to the underwriting. Man, their underwriting is fabulous. When they talk about that accelerated underwriting up to $1 million, and then their expanded criteria up to $2.5 million, these guys are doing it, and we're seeing cases go in and out the door really fast on your healthy clients. So give them a shot on your next traditional sale as well as your business opportunities. Another question here has come in. It says, what industries are not eligible for the informal business valuation? imagine ag farming, but are there others with an earnings limit? And I will unmute your line. Michelle, go ahead.
Excellent question. Yes, there are some businesses that work really well for it and others that don't work as well. So the ones that are best for the informal valuation are construction, manufacturing, and professional services, which is a very broad category covering, health, attorneys, CPAs, engineers, high tech, all of those. Those are excellent fits. There are some that are not good fits, which ag is one of those. We aren't able to value the land, which is really the key component in a ag operation. But we do have a separate report that we could provide if you do work with agribusiness that helps them from a planning perspective using the information they give us on the values of their assets. Other groups that don't work as well, though, are like real estate holding companies or anything where it really is the asset is the business. Nonprofits, businesses that have not been in existence for 3 years or more. We are not able to value financial professional firms just because of the way the income flows. It doesn't fit well with our models. And there are a few others, sole proprietors we cannot value. But the other question was the income level, and we are looking ideally for businesses that have $1 million or more of gross revenue and positive net revenue. Those are the key criteria that we're looking for there.
Very good, very good. And folks, don't think that the agribusiness is something that Principal shies away from. They have a full set of tools that we can use with the agribusiness that we can certainly help you out with. And also, if you're working with some other high net worth businesses where this valuation is not, perhaps appropriate as per Principal's approach, there's firms out there, Spar Data and others that we can hook you up with to do some valuations on some of those types of firms. So I don't have any other questions right now. So we're going to move over to the drawing here in just a moment. Just some closing thoughts here. You guys have heard the term before, small business is big business. And guys, this is more true today than ever. Just a challenge for you. How about you write down 3 business owner names, do it within the next 30 minutes, and just contact them and ask them if they've had a business valuation in the past 2 years. Chances are the answer is going to be no. And the question, do you think you're going to get a response from them? And then if you are able to provide that to them at no cost through the relationship here with Financial Markets and Principal, what a great opportunity to open up some potential sales there. And we'll move this over to the drawing now. All right, so there were 19 folks here on the call, and we're shuffling the hat. And boy, if I could buy a lottery ticket with a 1 in 19 chance, I would certainly sign up. So we're all shuffled up there. We'll put it in our hat. And an imaginary drum roll, please. And the winner here today is Lori Ketterling. Lori, congratulations. Let's make sure she's still on the line here. And she sure is. So congratulations, and most sincerely, thank you for your business with both Financial Markets and Principal in the past. And with that, I'll just leave it for a couple closing comments here from Michelle Tish.
Well, I just want to, again, thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit of insight on kind of what's going on from a business owner's perspective at this point. We appreciate the partnership with Financial Markets and look forward to working with you and everyone on the line and all the advisors there on business solutions. And like you said, whether they're regular cases or business cases, we are happy to work with you, and we definitely appreciate the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Hope everyone has a great day.